It's November 2022, and I get this comment on my video. Something weird about Splatoon 3 is the whole tests thing. There's no clear reason for them actually existing. If Alterna was once inhabited by humans, why the heck are they ink-based? Did Orca just make them because it was bored? Obviously, if 90% of your story mode has no canonical reason for existing, that's a huge plot hole. That is a great point. If this is correct, Splatoon 3 might be as pointless as a pebble. But before I begin fully whining, here's a quick summary of Alterna.
Thousands of years before the events of Splatoon 1, humanity did a little nuclear war and some idiot bombed Antarctica, causing the whole world to flood, what the heck god, and killed pretty much all mammals. A lot of other stuff happens during this event too, like volcanoes erupting. One of these eruptions made a crater that survivors found hospitality in. These survivors were conveniently led by super smart scientists who made a fake skybox out of mind-reading crystals. As years passed, these scientists grew old, and the younger scientists, who weren't as smart, wanted to make a rocket ship to escape Alterna. However, during a test, the rocket's energy made the crystals mad and caused the cavern to collapse, ultimately killing everyone.
And then Alterna flooded, leaving us to find it in Splatoon 3. That's so cool! Except, not really.
I know I tend to tie everything back to Octo Expansion, but I swear this is necessary. In Octo Expansion, we are introduced to station platforms and turnstiles. These are interactable menus before each level for the player to choose a weapon and then pay the level's entrance fee. Because of Octo Expansion's success, Splatoon 3 continued this with a few alterations. The functionality was the exact same, just with different lore implications. In Octo Expansion, these were openings to tests run by a mysterious business called Kamaboko. That's weird. This business warrants its own video, but what's important is that these stations make sense canonically. In Splatoon 3, none of these kettles make any sense. The point of the kettles are to get more power eggs, which are needed to get rid of the fuzzy ooze and progress to the sides. This is as far as their logic goes. These kettles are run by a program called Orca. We haven't even started talking about the kettles themselves, and we already have ourselves a plot hole. Orca stands for Omniscient Recording Computer of Alterna, and was made to keep record of everything that happened to Alterna, along with the amalgamation of all human knowledge. Keep in mind that the only reason Orca watches Agent 3 is to collect information to add to that collection. This implies that Orca doesn't make the tests, and it also doesn't run them, except we know this isn't the case. This is made apparent in a few tests, such as the Ink Conservation Project, where you have a limited amount of ink. If you use up that ink, Orca informs you that you have failed a test and proceeds to splat you with ink from the heavens. But whatever, maybe it's programmed to do that as well. And this is what gets us into our main argument, ink and Alterna.
Why are there kettles if the humans can't even access them? Why are there power eggs everywhere? How does Orca know what the weapons are? And why are there even weapons there in the first place? These are all very frustrating questions. But I know the Splatoon lore handlers care about their work. They would not just leave this big of a plot hole lying around, right? It is now February 2023. I've been pondering these questions for 2 months, and I've come to a conclusion. There is no answer. Violet was right, so I'm going to go in-depth into each of them. Maybe I can at least solve one. Let's start at the very bottom. Why are there kettles in Alterna if humans couldn't even access them? To understand this, we first have to understand kettles themselves. Many players believe they're just trapdoors to a section under them. However, this is not the case. If we turn to Sunken Scroll 2 from Splatoon 1, we can see that they're kind of like pocket dimensions. They're kind of underneath them, but you go in here, and then here's the level. I don't know what all this means. You can just ignore this. So like kettles, like you bring them with you, and then you put them down. They're like a pocket dimension. At least that's what I've got from this. But then, why did the fuzzy octolings even bring them in the first place? We'll come back to that.
How is Orca able to identify weapons if humans didn't make them? That's easy. Mr. Grizz probably assigned Salmon Run weapons from Alterna, and Orca found out about them that way. This would also explain my next gripe: why are there weapons down there in the first place?
Maybe the fuzzy octolings stole them from Sheldon so Mr. Grizz could give them to his employees to use in Salmon Run. Yeah, this is us saying it. There is no use of Zipcaster in Salmon Run. It has no reason to be in Alterna. Orca has no reason to know it is psych! You see, there's canned specials in Alterna, so the fuzzy inklings probably stole that from Hotlantis, which we know that Harmony sells, and brought it to Alterna to do something with it. I don't know. You thought for a second, okay, you last gripe. Why are there power eggs at the end of every level?
The kettles are used to store the eggs that Mr. Grizz's employees got in Salmon Run. Grizz knows that they're the one thing that can stop fuzzy ooze, so he keeps them under lock and key. This is why the fuzzy Octarians brought the kettles. And with Orca, it conducts tests because it was made to keep data, and it must know that doing tests will give it more data.
These questions aren't impossible. I did it! Although, now that I look at it, my explanation just seems like a lot of stretches and what-ifs. Maybe there are plot holes I can't see.
While editing this video, I thought of some. How does Orca get access to the ink, since it doesn't make it? And if it narrates kettles, how did it get into the kettles in the first place?
But it wouldn't be my fault. It would be the Splatoon team's fault, right? You know, at the end of the day, Splatoon is just meant to be a silly kids game. Maybe there won't be answers to every question we have about the lore. Maybe there are plot holes, but does that really matter? Maybe we should just appreciate what the Splatoon team has worked so hard to give us and stop whining. Thanks for watching. And join me next week when I talk about how Big Man should be replaced by Gnarly Eddie. Come on, Splatoon team, what were you thinking?